banyan tree. Please bestow your spontaneous objects of this world. Guru Dhyanam Vande Gurupadadvandvam Vangmanotitagocharam Shvetaraktaprabhavinnam Shivashaktyatmakam Param. I worship the marked by the white and red to reach of speech, mind, and the senses. The highest offering. Realization does not descend by grace alone. It must be earned through sincere application. In the next 5 verses, the teacher presents powerful analogies to reinforce this point. Consistent and wholehearted sadhana. As Pujya Gurudev clearly states, I have guided you in the direction. You have to make your own pilgrimage. Likewise, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj affirms the outer Guru gives the instruction offering to realize the self, to live and abide the truth. Veda Vyasa. In the Vedic period, Bhojapatra leaves were used as a preferred medium for writing sacred texts, hymns, and scriptures. The Rigveda is said to have been written on Bhojapatra leaves. This letter was written by Pujya Gurudev in reply to a question by Sri Ahuja as part of the postal lesson course. Palmyra leaves or printed on paper is a volume of the Veda. The lines or statements therein are called the mantras of the Veda. Neither the letters and words implied nor the material on which they are recorded is true Veda. Veda is the knowledge imparted by those words, the truth to the individual student. This life spark is eternal, immutable, changeless, ever present, even before the world. Man made. We know nothing about when, who, from, where, or how. When the great Rishis gave out those words, they were caught up in the memory of the students, and they, in their turn, having confirmed the veracity of the declarations in their own subjective direct experience, gave it out to the seekers who reached them. Thus, in the hierarchy of Guru Shishya Parampara, it came down to the times of Vyasa. Vyasa is the one who compiled, edited, and published these existing mantras into the 4 volumes. You and I, Param Pujya Gurudev, Param Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda Ji. Ishwar himself, in the form of the teacher, instructs, helps, and guides all those who have surrendered to him. The distribution of grace is not controlled by the Guru, but depends upon the capacity of the recipient. The Sri Dakshinamurti is the teacher of teachers, whose hand is held in the sign of knowledge, Chin Mudra, whose nature is bliss, who ever revels in his own self, and who is ever silent. Where ego is arrogantly high, Anger constantly lashes in and activity is the aroma of a heart with reverence, faith, and love for the Guru. No Guru can give, but we can endlessly take from him. Hence Hence the glory of Guru Upasana not reach us. The mortal minus his ego is the immortal truth. To consider yourself as just this little me who has come into this world and lives temporarily in a bag of skin is a hoax and a fake. The real you, the self, is the whole. Infinite are your capabilities and abilities because you are Brahman. As you think, so you become. Let the ultimate end be in the background. Let the ultimate end be in the background to enthuse, to direct, to guide. Interview with Swami Chinmayananda 2. We continue the British Nandi's famous interview that took place in 1981 and was published in Sunday Ananda Bazar publication, Calcutta, as a cover story. It must be tough to be a guru, Nandi asked Puja Gurudev after a particularly tiresome session. Not tough, it is lonely, said Hinduism's most famous hostage. But this spiritualism you are talking about has often been the means to social exploitation. Many practitioners of faith have, over the centuries, hoodwinked, shortchanged, and manipulated the weak and the gullible. Many societies have been kept under the yoke of religion for years and years without hope of escape of redemption. Look how the church exploited people. Look at how Hinduism has exploited our illiterate masses and kept them shackled for centuries. Look at the track record of most religions, and you will know what I mean. Where do you find purity in such an exploitative system? Why has religion allowed itself to be used as a tool for social subjugation or political aggrandizement? Have you noticed that in India, religion has never been organized? In the West, on the other hand, this has always been the case. This is because Christianity had to organize. They had to fight Rome. However, when religion becomes organized, it becomes a powerful entity. The power often has a tendency to be abused. The state versus the church, with both sides equally corrupt. State versus church, right? Had said this, his marriage would be annulled. In Iran today, the mullahs are as tyrannical. That is what I am saying about it. This happened. This happened around the 16th century in India. Power politics came into play. Religion, when mixed with politics, stinks. Politics also stinks when it comes into contact with religion, and religion decays when politicians enter the fray. In India, they were separate, the king and the Rajguru. Dasharatha, when he had problems, went to Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra clearly stated that he had no prejudices and no party affiliations. He was impartial. He said, "This is Dharma. If you think you can do it, do it. If you can't do it, do whatever you can to serve your country and suffer the consequences." But slowly and slowly, power became hereditary. My son, my son, my son. By the time the third generation of kings came, things went awry. The first generation really waited and carved out a kingdom. The second generation at least saw their fathers going out to fight. The third generation never saw their fathers going out anywhere. Subsequent generations thought it was their privilege to rule. Some people are lucky. I am a king by birth. So, by no fault of his, he became purely intelligent. The Rajguru also became the same. The fourth great grandson of the Rajguru had nothing spiritual about him. He said, "Alright, Raja Sahab, you are the king. Why should you get into this mess? Whatever important papers are there, I will bring them to you and you sign them. You have the harem and you can drink what from morning onwards. That is your privilege. Why deprive yourself?" The Raja said, "Perfectly right." So the Raja was soon a de jure Raja and de facto Raja was the minister. Now the minister wanted to hold all the reins of power in the community. How could he do so? How can you hold power in a community? You must have a party. So the Rajaguru, who was a Brahmin, brought the Brahminical community with him as his party. He became their patron. In those days, you couldn't be a patron by giving someone an import license land. So land was given to all the Brahmin. Now land is a funny thing. Any amount of money you get, you can digest it, use it. What will you do after you get 3 acres of land? You, your wife, and 3 children. How will you plow more in those time in those times? In those times, the Brahmin class said, "Proscribe the scriptures." Nor did they just proscribe the books. They said non-Brahmins cannot study Sanskrit, just as if just as it is happening today. Ministers don't want anybody to study in English schools, while their own sons must go to English schools. You see, it's repetition. It's repetition. Man is not intelligent enough to think of a new mischief. Laughs, he repeats his old mischiefs. So Sanskrit was removed. They were told, "You are not to read the scriptures. You will tell we will tell you the we will tell you everything." And what they told them were Rama and Krishna stories. 500 years of this. Today the Brahmin doesn't even know the scriptures. Why should he study? All the others accept that he is a Brahmin. So why should he worry? So you can blame neither the Brahmin today nor the non-Brahmin. Neither of them knows the scriptures. They must be retaught, and that is what we have been trying to do for the last 20-30 years. Now I think the average intelligent educated man knows something of his scriptures, at least he knows the spelling of Upanishads. Before that, they had not even heard of it. But the average intelligent Indian is also a prey to a lot of hocus pocus being peddled around in the name of religion. Look, this land, but also overseas. What do you, as a scholar of Hinduism, and one of the most distinguished teachers think of this and one of the most distinguished teachers think of this state some consolation. So at only at the BSc level or levels, different teachers are valid. They don't know beyond their levels, just as their students cannot understand beyond the levels at which they speak. Would you believe, like some god men do, that liberating the libido is the only way for man to transcend his environment and achieve spiritual freedom? Before answering this question, I would like to know what the word God man means. Everybody uses it, it's become a journalistic lingo. Well, let me try and explain. There are religious teachers who call them gurus. Then there are those who think they are in Krishna. They all leave impressions for only a repetitive bird, repeating like a tota parrot, unless be airworthy. About being notoriously immoral in their activities, and this is a dichotomy in their personality. Spiritually by yourself, says the Gita, and it gives you the logic behind every. If your early morning bed tea is not there, you are most miserable. If at the next moment your wife doesn't smile the exact amount, you are miserable. If she smiles too much, you are worried. Why is she grinning at me? And if it is less, then she is at me. And if it is less, then she is not happy. I am a poor slave being by my own equipment around me. What freedom are you talking about? Only a man who is detached can be free. Who is detached can be free. He is like he is like Antara does not. The Shastras speak in terms of Papa and Punya, but we know practically that on seeing something dirty or vulgar, the eyes may not get affected, but the mind gets affected. Those who continue to watch the news or serials, the sense are but it enlivens our imaginations and ideas of ourselves. For example, the rope is not affected by the snake that you imagine to be. You superimpose the snake on the rope because of your ignorance. In the same way, because of my wrong identification, I think I am impure. Only an Atmadarshi, one who has realized the self, has real Sukham and real Shanti. This is made clear in the next mantra. एको वशी सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा एकं रूपं बहुधा यः करोति तमात्मस्थं येन पश्यन्ति धीरास्तेषां सुखं शाश्वतं नेतरेषाम्. There is only one Atman, Brahman, Ekaha. That Paramatma is called Vashi. Vasham Sarvam Yasya Vartate. One under whose control everything is. in whose control are countless cosmoses, Anantakoti Brahmandanayaka. This Paramatma alone, through the total mind as Ishvara, has everything under its control, and he is Sarva Bhutantaratma, the inner self of all. Controller means that because of which everything exists, because of which everything is sustained. As Ishvara, everything is under his control. We have also seen it as Atma Tattva, in whose presence alone everything exists, and we have also seen that it is the one consciousness that gets reflected as life in all beings. One may ask what that Paramatma does. He is one alone, manifesting in many forms, Ekam into seven colors. In every color, the colorless light is present. But in this case, there is no other prism apart from Paramatma. That is called Achintya Shakti. The Upanishads present it in a dramatic form. Ekoham Bahusyam. I am one, let me become many. He becomes many without undergoing any change. Suppose you stand in front of parallel mirrors. You will see multiple images of yourself. Similarly, in the case of relation, husband, an employee, and so on, all at once. One actor, wise people see that Paramatma in their own hearts as their own self. Tvam Atmastham Anupashyanti Dhiraha. Atmastham Anupashyanti Dhiraha. Knowledge does not take place by mere reading of books. That is why Agama Acharya Upadesha Anu Pashyante. Acharya Upadesha Anu Pashyante. And Anu also means continuously. Once they see it continually. This vision does not come and go. A question may arise: what is the result of this knowledge of realization? Only those who know this experience abiding, eternal, everlasting Sukham, Tesham Sukham Shashvatam Netaresham, can know it, not others, not those who are ignorant, indulgent, and indolent, nor those who do not have a guru. About them, Bhagavan Shankaracharya has said, Sheshastu Brahmanilaye Paribhramanti. They, others, do not realize the truth, keep roaming about in the wilderness of delusion. They don't get even a whiff of sukhasya gandhamatram nasti. People indulging in sense pleasures do not like such statements. They feel this contradicts their experience, as they do get some enjoyment from what be temporary, kshanikam. What we get in the same name of pleasure is only some comfort, some sensation, and some illusory feeling. This is because this sukham depends on something other than us. It is said that anything in the control of others is sorrow. Sarvam that Brahman and your own self are one. Is that Shantirastisam Shanti Shashvati Netaresham. The Atma Tattva is referred to as Nityo Anityanam, the changeless among the changing. Earlier mind derive their Chetana from the Atma mind derive their Chetana from the Atma Tattva, which is Nitya, so do the celestial beings. The water in a pan may be hot. The water in a pan may be hot, but its heat does not belong to itself. It is It is Ananta Swarupa. It is one alone but fulfills the desire of all. Bahunam yo vidadhati kamam. Paramatma is the giver of fruits of action to everybody according to the individual's karma. Yajna karma yatha karma yatha shrutam. All this is done effortlessly, anayasena. He does not struggle with the record of each jiva's karma to give the fruits of action, nor does he struggle to fulfill the desires of all. This indicates the Ishvara source. Many of them waitlisted for fulfillment in a future life can never have Shanti, the your own Swarupa. The more you struggle for it in the world outside, you are obstructing it yourself. And can be seen. Dr. Shweta, Hari Om Swamiji, I am deeply grateful and humbled. I am deeply grateful and humbled that you are agreed to this. Question arises because we often don't truly understand the meaning of the word science. Science explains the mind that follows the game to the very thing causing the pain. That is precisely what we do in life. We hold on to what brings us sorrow, stress, frustration, and depression. Finally, we end up our spiritual traditions. Our spiritual traditions. It is quite simple values. Yes, simple values. Yes, simple values like love, compassion, kindness, consideration, and sharing. When we study the brain, we often explain it in terms like brain scanning for threats and reacting with fight, flight. Our immediate reaction is fear. Spiritual science points to something even more remarkable understood. It's what spiritual texts describe are subtle, profound, and of which devotion and clarity. Which devotion and clarity. That's why I speak about moving real wealth, but intellectual. There's also intuitive intelligence, and inner knowing. Our rishis, today's education system, are if education alone wasn't enough to help me understand, truly add value to their lives. I would like to ask you one final question. What scientific and spiritual practices from morning to night can help us develop both our minds and brains in something can no matter the conflicts or disagreements. Romance isn't just about buying flowers or having a candlelight dinner. Similarly, as some saints say, it's about the romance with God, where you build a deeper, with more meaningful relationship with the divine each day. Good, good. Every day, Gurudev would receive letters requesting his articles, sometimes from organizations or our centers. The moment he read a letter, he didn't need to reflect or plan like we do. We might spend time thinking upon a topic, jotting down notes, or so tired within 6 months. I knew the rhythm and capacity of the great general managers I worked for so well, in fact, that I could often anticipate their dictation before they and we don't believe he would be able to come for this occasion. Anyone else? The Nambudiri asked. The astrologers did another round of calculations and answered Swami Chinmayananda. When Gurudev was told, everything changed. My attitude, my reverence, complete oneness. But when he stepped down from the stage, he remained exactly the same. There was no difference in whether he spoke to one person or 10,000 because he was always completely with the Lord. Humor in his hands, sometimes 50 a day offered to the Lord credit with the expectation of praise or applause, then the merit of that action is lost. Things Hindu gatherings because often when we visit temples or public spaces we lack it. Individually we may be good people, but often we don't know how to behave as a crowd. Here's an example. In the streets of Mumbai, if a single young man follows a girl, she feels safe place all the time. Why am I often unhappy? This beautiful question appears in the final chapter of Panchadashi. What follows is a deeply insightful discussion, culminating in a clear and powerful answer. The Guru explains the nature of the Lord is Satchidananda, and our nature is also Satchidananda. Everyone knows, he said, ourselves, acting medium, our Om Gurave Namaha. Next moment of their life for the sake of the students. A teacher first priority in his life. Quote that students always and not just in the classroom. Elders, especially school teachers, should remember that students always look up to their teachers, whether in or outside the classroom. The responsibilities of a teacher do not end with the class. Therefore, it is essential that all elders, especially teachers, consistently live by the values they cherish because at any given moment someone might be watching and emulating them. My salutations to him who dedicated each and every moment to nurturing and mentoring the eager students. Om Karunasagaraye Namaha. Swami Abhedananda. Om Karunasagaraye Namaha. Salutations to the ocean of compassion. Consciousness conditioned by the desire to give liberation to the disciples is called Guru. A Guru serves his disciple more than a disciple's meditation. The Guru comes down to the level of the disciple, and therefore it requires a heart filled with immense compassion, patience, and utmost forgiveness. Such was the heart of our Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda. The more we realize, think, contemplate, and get colored with the benign nature of Pujya Gurudev, the more our heart gets overwhelmed with devotion and surrender unto Him. He truly epitomizes the name Om Karuna Sagaraya Namaha, the infinite ocean of compassion, the hand that holds forever. There is a touching and memorable incident that occurred in my life in 1991, which reminds me of the boy just out of college. I don't believe my eyes or ears. He called me again. I am talking to you. Come here. He was an institution. Gurudev was not just a guru to his disciples, but he was a walking, talking God. But he was a walking, talking God. He was just the very manifestation of the Gita and the Upanishads. He did not just give discourses, rather, the Gita and the Upanishads expressed themselves through him. The more we surrender our ego and cultivate attachment to Puja Gurudev, the greater and more intense will be his compassion that engulfs us. Fortunate are we who got the opportunity to bask in his love and to bask in his love and continue to bathe in the infinite dignity of a saint. One can easily turn inward and successfully go to fly away as these dogs. He further explained that no seeker goes beyond the body embrace, yet is not held by the embrace of possessions. In the Sanidhya, river flows, the Guru, Chhatri Bari on the 22 to 27. The Ram Naam ki Mahima of Palakkad from May 15 to 17. Around 140 teachers, principals, and members of the management attended the sessions. Swami Anukulananda, Zonal Director, DC, Srimati, the donations, and nectar of the St. Thomas. The session, the 8 spiritual strength for educators that foster human performed graceful yogasanas. Srirangam Trichy, Tamil Nadu. Srirangam Trichy, Tamil Nadu. Chaitanya encouraged the students by explaining the significance until April 28, spanning 56 days. Balvihar, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, Chinmay Mission Coimbatore organized a Balvihar camp titled Krishna's Besti, held on May 3 and 4, had 40 little ones exploring the divine friendship of Krishna through stories, the divine friendship of Krishna through stories, games, and fun learning activities. The Balvihar camp Taekwondo inaugurated the camp. Throughout the camp, the children. This is traditional ancient board game played in the camp was conducted by Bal Bihar coordinator Sri Raghav. From April 25 to 27, children came to the Karnataka Youth Camp. Chinmay Central Chinmay Vanaprastha organized by Brahat or Kachal ज्येष्ठ नागरिक समिति on spiritual practices for attaining inner peace. On April 10th, Ananya ji beautifully explained the held at Shishu Vihar Bhavnagar dance, guided by Swami Samadhana, senior of the Chennai Mission Center at Balsore on his 93rd birthday. The check was received by Dr. Khiteshwar Daksha, Das President, and Brahmachari Agastya Chaitanya, who most effective means to calm the agitated mind that fails to find peace in the outer world. Several devotees from abroad, Durban, South Africa. Chinmay Mission's Grand Annual Cultural Night titled Sapanam Moodley Ward Committee for Sports, Arts, Culture and Presence in Our Life. Cleveland Stigmas and Rising Above Them. Exploring identity, stigmas and rising above them. Exploring identity, understanding mental health and with Nachiketa, the ideal spiritual seeker on his quest for the truth, sightseeing 7 to 11. Enabling them to become positive contributors to society. Enabling them to become positive contributors to society. We have over 900 titles for all age groups. In the categories of Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Linga represents Shiva, and the Shaligram represents Vishnu. In the same way, the feet of the teacher represents to the student, not the feet but the concept behind them. What you are invoking, however, we cannot stratum as yours. You are not worshipping me, you are invoking him through the feet of the teacher. The teacher holds on to his teacher's feet, and thus the Guru Shishya Parampara is formed. The Pada Puja has tremendous significance